Today, we're going to talk about what we're actually getting paid for when we work for someone else, when we take on a role, take on a specific job description and requirements. Because, you know, when we go into the job market, and the corporate environment, we can literally see how different jobs are posted and marketed to show that that company has great benefits, supposedly stands for something, has an ethos, has an ethics. And what you get in return, or what you have to do, I should say, in order to get those things, are the tasks, the list of responsibilities listed. And in seeing that list of responsibilities, no matter how theoretical they may be or granular they may be, those are really the things that the employer is asking you to care about. Those are the things that we're being told that matter to them. And this is important because once we're in the jobs, and then we start to detangle ourselves from different personalities and different work styles and environments, and we start to see how really the situation is, how really the job and these tasks pan out in reality. We have to remind ourselves that what we signed up for, what was advertised to us, what was marketed to us, is really what the fine kind of print is, and what we should kind of create that boundary around. That, for example, when I was a communications person at a tech company, and part of being a communications professional is being a project manager of sorts, because we have to manage different mediums, different ways of communicating, or that the internal departments or teams need to use to communicate. So that could be through Slack, through different platforms like Monday or Asana, through newsletters, through websites and blogs, or even externally through social media and intranets, which are kind of internal but also external, depending on how much information is going to be relayed to different levels of employees within a company. So there's a great deal of project management within communications role. And I remember being in a role where a lot of the expectations were unclear. So the advertised role was to help support newsletters, was to help write, draft, I would say the typical. But what's unsaid about a lot of these tasks were, of course, the management of people, the culture of when do we expect to hear back from people? How on top of other people do I have to be? Do I have to message them every day for contact for the newsletter? What are the parameters in terms of authority? Will they listen to what I have to say in putting expectations and asserting myself and making sure that the final product, let's say the newsletter, is what it needs to be? Or are they going to go around the bush, so to speak, and just, continue with their own process because that's what in their mind makes sense. They don't need to listen to me. They're a manager or they're an executive or whatever their, let's say, authority level is greater than mine. They don't have to listen to me in their mind. And so this example here is one where I would say, and what I've done in my past experience, is to stop caring about the larger, let's say, culture and larger emotional, like all the things that are not tangibly what I have to work on. Because let's say we keep caring, and maybe caring isn't the word, is the best word to use here, but let's say I keep putting my best effort in asserting myself and making sure that other people are understanding the expectations, are clear on the process, that the structure and the system is there, so that all of us, a part of the communications drafting and process, can feel supported. But if I'm the only one who is interested in this kind of everyone being on the same page philosophy, and others either are more defensive or others have their own way or are insistent in their way, then it doesn't matter how much I care or how much of an effort I'm putting in making them understand. For whatever reason, they're not interested in understanding. And so we come back to, what is it that we agreed in our roles in order to make the money, live that lifestyle, get the benefits? And I'm not saying that it becomes a hopeless situation. On the contrary, I think it becomes a very empowering situation, because once we see that line in the sand and we're like, okay, actually, I just need to focus on the end product. If these people are going to be helpful, then great. If they're not, then I will just do the best I can. If they're not understanding my perspective, or they're against it, or whatever the case may be, then all you can do is your best. And this is where a lot of, I think, the hang-ups start is, oh, my job sucks, the people suck, the environment sucks, everything is just draining me and sucking the energy out of me, the fulfillment, the peace, the contentment. And then we start to look at other jobs, go back to the job market, and see, okay, instead of the apple, let me try the orange, let me try a banana, let me try a hybrid fruit, let me try something else, because obviously what I had wasn't working. And there becomes also this fear or anxiety of, oh, if I get the apple again, or if I go to this part of the job market again, or if I work with this sort of industry again. But that's not to say that those things don't happen or that those factors aren't important. But what I really want to highlight is that a big piece is us reading the fine print, or in between the lines, I should say, of the jobs that we apply for, and being able to really understand that that is really not that you're not going to do other things beyond that, or that because it's not in your job description, don't do it. That's not the case. It's really just the matter of the emotional boundaries and how much emotionally are you investing in these people, in the environment, in the tasks, because you're not getting paid to care for all of the mishaps and all of the ridiculousness, or like, you're not being paid. The other expression is, it's above your pay grade to kind of micromanage or create the structures to look on top of people. Like, that's extra. That's not, unless that is your job description, you're a manager or a supervisor or something of that sort. But ultimately, focus on what you can focus on. Take control of what you have control over. Because a lot of people may not start something or approach something, I should say, view something the way you would. And sure, sometimes there is a huge uphill battle about how to get buy-in, how to bring people to your side, to your approach for doing certain tasks at work, for working in a certain way. And this is kind of the gamble. This is what, for those of us who are on the job market or who do choose to work for others, this is the trade-off, that we have to be willing and able to work with others to a certain extent, find ways to work around some of the personalities and ambiguities and all of that. And it's also up to us to create those healthy boundaries and parameters, because again, that person or people, that team, that environment is not necessarily going to automatically just accept or follow through with how you see and operate. And that can be a huge pain point. I know for me, going back to that previous experience about being a communications professional in a tech company, it was challenging to work with so many different project managers, and each project manager was so different. Some people were very, I don't know if accommodating, but very understanding as to why I needed to be copied, I needed to be CC'd, why there was certain structures in place and a method to the madness, so to speak. But other project managers were very, I want to do things their way, like my way, and not that they don't care, but that they're just very wanting to control in their way. And I would say not being collaborative, not being team players, or following other people's structures and systems in place, because we're all coming from different teams, we're all coming from different departments. So there does have to be a lot of cross coordination and collaboration happening. And if your job has a great deal to do with that, or is in that sort of environment, then I would say this piece of advice or this suggestion of really being able to stand your ground and stay within your stay within your lane is another expression. That's so important, because our job, or my job, wasn't to go and fix other people's systems or impose the way that I worked on others. I had to be assertive and firm in the way in which my team and, let's say, my manager wanted things to go, even if I didn't agree, or even if I felt that it wasn't successful. But still, I was getting paid to do a job a certain way. And if the people I worked with had a problem with that, that's where I had to make the decision. How much am I invested in this? How much does this job, do these tasks, do these people, how much does any of this matter to me? Does this situation affect my tasks, or how much does it affect my ability to do my tasks and follow through with my job? Because that's essentially what we ask ourselves is, am I getting paid enough for this? Is this what I need to be stressing over? Is this where I want to be placing my attention and my energies and my focus? Those are sorts of the questions that help us place positive boundaries, not boundaries that are alienating or pushing people aside, but that we are firm in what we need to do, and we are firm in how we want to achieve things for our greater good and for the greater good of the work, the team. So, this is the question. These are the questions. This is the mentality that has served me well in a lot of different roles within the industry, I guess we can call it, of communications. But maybe industry isn't the word, because I worked for a variety of different industries: hospitality, health, finance, technology, and in a variety of different sectors: government, nonprofit, for-profit. So the question really is,